Hi, I'm Wendy the Super Librarian from the blog The Misadventures of Super Librarian, and today I'm here with author Carrie Lofty, whose new book, Scoundrel's Kiss, is coming out from Zebra Books in January 2010.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
Now, your debut novel, What a Scoundrel Wants, was out last year.
Yes.
And it was very fascinating because the hero was Will Scarlet from Robin Hood.
That's right, yes.
How did you hit upon the idea of using Will Scarlet as a romance hero?
My daughters rented the Disney version of Robin Hood from the library, and I'm watching this with them, and the fox is actually kind of hot. He's Robin Hood. And I thought to myself that I hadn't seen the Kevin Costner version, Prince of Thieves, in ages. I thought I owned it, I didn't. I went and rented it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, whatever happened to Will Scarlet? He's at the end, he's kind of got this man-child sort of story arc, and at the end of it, Robin and Marian are happily ever after, and Will Scarlet is standing there, and I was, what's next? So I'd been in between projects, and everyone talks about Big Hook and this idea of how to catch people's attentions with a story idea, and so that was my idea. I was going to continue the adventures of Robin Hood, but take it from Will Scarlet's point of view. And the more research I did, I realized that he's never really been portrayed as a hero in, about 600 years worth of literature. So it was about time. There was a lot to work with.
It was long overdue.
Long overdue.
Now, your heroine in that book is fascinating because she's an alchemist.
Yes.
And she's got a lot of baggage.
Yes.
And there's this theme of fire running through her books. And what's fascinating about her is that her and Will are both morally ambiguous.
That's a good term for it.
And it takes them a while to learn to trust each other. Was it hard writing characters like that were really at odds with each other until they finally come to a moment in the story where they realize we really have to trust each other and work together?
For me, for both of them, well, first, I'm generally a person who resolves conflict too easily.
Yeah.
In my personal life, I'm very non-confrontational. My husband is English. We're very calm at home. I don't draw from a place of strong conflict in real life. So
Yeah.
I was very conscious of needing to continue creating these conflicted scenes. But then, too, Meg is blind. She's been pretty much rejected by the people in her village. She pursues alchemy, which has overtones of witchcraft and this kind of, she's very isolated. So she's used to being on her own and very distrustful. And then Will Scarlet has just been betrayed at the very beginning of the book. He doesn't know who to trust. So for me, the conflict, although it was contentious and rather painful, and I wanted them to love each other as well, but they needed to get through this moment of knowing each other when they really couldn't trust each other in order to be
Yes.
true to where I thought they came from as characters, that they couldn't just fall in line together and believe in each other until they both had a common enemy. And that's when they really hit their stride as a couple, when they realized they don't have much option other than each other.
Yeah. Now, what I loved about this book is, in a lot of romance novels, there's really a theme of family and acceptance, and ultimately you get your happy ending, and
Right.
that's what a lot of people love about romance
Yes.
novels. Now, Meg and her sister Ada, man, this is like one heck of a relationship. And for people who have read your debut novel,
Yes.
as you're reading this book and you're reading about Ada and what has transpired between her and Meg and why they have had a falling out,
Correct.
you think to yourself, this Ada is a piece of work. And then I found out you decided to write the follow-up sequel about her.
Yes.
And she ends up in Spain. How did you decide? I guess what I'm wondering is you have such a flawed potential heroine in the first book.
Yeah.
What were the challenges of turning her into a heroine and bringing her over to Spain and having
And to the
her-
light side, come to be a good heroine. Well, with Meg and Ada, I was thinking about some of the romances I've loved growing up, and they generally have sisters that are kind of superficially at odds with each other. Even like the Bennett sisters, if you think about Pride and Prejudice, they bicker, but there's
Yeah.
no genuine animosity. And when I thought of these ideas, I was currently in the process of raising girls who are at the time 3 and 4. And I was imagining worst case scenarios for them in 10 years' time. So actually their characters came from my daughters in very roundabout ways. You can't find them now, but the inspiration at least of saying, what if they grow up and genuinely dislike each other for a period of time, and what it would take for them to come back together as family. So with Ada, yeah, she has a lot of issues. And I like to think that just like Meg, some of her issues come from an initial starting point of validity, that she has been injured. Both of them have. They have been scorned, and they have taken it really badly. As opposed to letting it roll off their backs, they've taken it very personally. And part of this has to do with their family relationships. So I like the idea of bringing Ada out of that environment, letting her, all warts and all, just show her character as being this person who has a lot of growing to do. And I think that, to me, that's where I see them as being incredibly immature, that only children hold those sort of grudges and behave with that sort of selfishness. And it's as they become young women and independent women that they are able to let go of some of those grudges and become heroines, each in their own setting. And they need to do it individually. It's like, go to your rooms.
Yeah.